What's up, collectors? I'm Transformation Enthusiast. Today we're going to be taking a look at the recently revealed pictures of Transformers Legacy Deluxe Class Skids. I always like to take a relook at the figures that only have promo images, for example the CGI images or the heavy background images. Like for example, you can see this image of Skids with the background and all that. Like, I don't want to see that. I want to see the pure raw picture of the actual figure to see, have an idea of how it's gonna look in my collection, how it's gonna look on your hands and all that, and just to be sure if you should buy it or not, if it's worth it of a figure, if it's not, how it's scaled with the rest of the Autobot, if it's accurate or not, all those questions get answered when the raw images come available, because the promo pictures always are to make you buy the figure, man. It always look good, it always look amazing, man. When you see the actual figure, it kind of it's kind of 50-50. Sometimes it's even better than the promo pictures, sometimes it's exactly the same, and sometimes it's worse. So we're gonna go ahead and take a look and see which one of those is Skids. So without further ado, let's get into it. So these are the actual hand images of Skids, and as you can see, it's kind of a little bit more of the same. I said I'm a little bit more interested now that I see how it's going to look on your hands. You can see sculpted in detail is fantastic. The paint distribution and pops out is accurate as well. But I'm not gonna lie, I was not that hype about this figure. I saw G2 Optimus, I saw Kickback, I saw Drawstrip. I was super hype about those three figures. And Bulkhead and RC, they were gonna man, and then right underneath all of that, it was Skids for me, on my opinion. On my particular list, was not that hype about this guy, but now that I see him, it's pop a little bit more. I kind of want him more than RC and Bulkhead now, so there's that. Also, now you can appreciate him from a couple different angles to see how the sculpted in detail looks on the back, on the sides, and all that. And you can see that it still continues. Sculpted in detail and distribution is even on the back, so that's a plus. And you can clearly see that he has no backpack. That's a plus for me, man. I hate backpack. You can see that it's flush down there, not that bad at all. And you can see that the wings are heavily articulated. You can go ahead and put them however you want, on an angle or just straightforward, just like Blue Streak and Prowl. And it's just up to personal preference. And now moving on to the comparison, so you guys can see how truly accurate this guy is. As you can see, man, everything is there. It's just a copy and paste from the G1 representation. There are a couple different things, a couple different modifications here and there, but everything is pretty much the same. You can see the sculpted in detail is pretty much exactly the same. The face sculpt is it has a couple of differences there, but on paint distribution and on sculpted in detail is fairly accurate. You can see the chest is just a copy and paste. Everything that's there is supposed to be there. You can see that the Autobot logo is positioned on the same spot as the G1 representation. The grill, the lines, the bar, everything is there. You can see that the hands, the arms, the legs, everything is accurate, and you can see that the feet are red just like the G1 representation. So overall, everything is on the spot and it's decently accurate to its particular representation. One thing that I was a little bit concerned when I saw this guy is the scale. Sometimes when you go ahead and swap lines or change line, for the War for Cybertron into the Legacy, sometimes there are a couple of changes into the scale. Sometimes it's smaller, sometimes it's bigger, and hopefully, the figures that come on the Legacy can scale beautifully with the War for Cybertron line. So that was the thing that I was kind of sketchy about, but as you can clearly see, it scales perfectly. You can see the Bumblebee is still the smaller foal next to Skids. That's accurate to the G1 representation, and size-wise pretty much exactly the same size, maybe a little bit more smaller. This is not accurate at all, but it still looks good when you go ahead and put them side to side with the War for Cybertron figures. Now, in terms of leader class slash Voyager and commander class slash leader class, you can see that for Optimus Prime is more of the same. The accuracy is there. You can see the scale is fantastic and they look beautifully together. And for Rodimus Prime is again more of the same. You can see that the scale is fantastic. He is supposed to be the smaller foal in comparison to Rodimus Prime, and as you can clearly see, he is. Moving on to the vehicle mode, you can clearly see that the sculpted in detail translates beautifully, as well as the paint distribution. He looks fantastic. The doors, the wheels are kind of they're just all black, no detail whatsoever there, but you can see that on the front is where the detail is. You can see the grill grill, you can see the lights, you can see the bar, you can see the hood. Everything looks fantastic. Now the Autobot logo translates into the front of the vehicle mode. You can see, you know, the windows look fantastic, the top of the vehicle mode as well, and just overall he looks really good. On the back of the vehicle mode, you can clearly see the skeleton and detail translates as well, but the chain distribution is kind of meh. Like, you can clearly see nothing there, and like no tail lights, no windows on the back, no just the grill is blue as well. You can see that the pipes are blue as well, so just everything is just blue, nothing there. It's like they just were tired of painting, and they came into this area, they were just, nah man, let's just go ahead and paint it blue and leave it like that, no details whatsoever. Now in terms of the scale of the vehicle mode, I had the same thoughts. I was kind of scared, kind of sketched that, you know, he may be a little bit bigger than the Warfare Cybertron figures. And keep in mind, this is supposed to be a really small vehicle, kind of like the Bumblebee vehicle mode, you know, kind of like the Volkswagen and all that. He's supposed to be small, not that big, but as you can clearly see, he's kind of 50-50 on scale on this side of things, because, you know, he's still a little bit more bigger than Bumblebee. He's supposed to be kind of the same size, or kind of like a 50% bigger than Bumblebee, but not that big. And you can clearly see that, well, he's a little bit bigger. Now, thanks to Prime vs. Prime, we got an amazing comparison between Sideswipe, Bumblebee, and Skids, so your doubts are erased. And yes, full credit goes to Prime vs. Prime. By the way, you know, the whole video pretty much goes to him. Thanks to him, we have an idea of scale, how it looks, and the skeleton detail, and what this guy can offer and bring to the table. So as always, link is going to be on the description down below, you know, to see his video and all that, and, you know, to see transformation and his thoughts on Skids. I don't know how he does it, I don't know how he finds the figures this early, but on my eyes, he is the GOAT. But, you know, for the comparison on Skids and Bumblebee and Sideswipe, you can clearly see that the scale is not that bad, man. You know, he's still a little bit more bigger than Bumblebee, and I kind of don't like that, but he is a smaller foal in comparison to Sideswipe. That's a little bit more accurate to the G1 representation. So overall, it's kind of 50-50, man. It depends how you look at it. In my eyes, he's still worth it. Now, in terms of the comparison with Optimus, it's a completely different story, man. I mean, look at this. This is not supposed to be like that. Like, the truck is a truck, man. Like, it's supposed to be way bigger than Skids. But you know my thoughts on, you know, the leader class / Voyager Optimus Prime. If you go ahead and put it with the trailer, it's a little bit more understandable. If you go ahead and take the trailer off, it looks like a complete Deluxe class, man. I mean, look at that. It looks exactly the same as Skids, and it's just, nah, man. No way. Now, in terms of the comparison between him and Rodimus Prime on vehicle mode, it's pretty much more of the same. Rodimus Prime is a little bit more bigger, but it's not this ridiculous as Optimus and Skids. But with that comparison out of the way, that brings us to the end of the video. As always, leave your thoughts in the comments down below. I'm really interested to see and know your opinion on the subject, especially if you're gonna go ahead and pick this guy up, or it's a complete pass. What you think about the scale and, you know, the features and the things that this guy brings to the table. But other than that, that's pretty much it for the whole thing. I hope you enjoy. If you did, please leave a like. It really helps you to algorithm know how my videos get out there in a while. So if you get anything, any value that I make content, please subscribe, and I will see you on the next video. But this is pretty much it for Transformers Legacy Deluxe Class Skids.